In our world moving faster than ever, and in an increasingly interconnected society, the role of foreign language is crucial, as they are key to different cultures and traditions, in addition to representing the tool to interact with different people and ways of living. My journey, as I prefer to consider my studies, takes inspiration from these observations on languages and the important role of foreign language teacher nowadays. My passion for languages is rooted in my childhood. I consider this aspect an enrichment in the discovery, and my curiosity about cultures which differ from ours grew exponentially. In ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece, language teaching had a simple objective: teaching to communicate in the language used by people in order to enter into business relations, alliances, or arguments. For Romans, the study of Greek also had a cultural importance, and in the Middle Ages, Latin, Greek, and later Hebrew were tools used to study religion and to access the books of Revelation. What framework must we refer to today? What are the aims and specific objectives of language teaching? What language teaching methods are implemented? My study aims at answering all these questions and providing conceptual references for a better understanding of the topic. Contemporary language didactics is the result of the research conducted in the field in the 20th century on theories and methods, as well as on the institutional developments that occurred in 1992, when all citizens were allocated by the European Union the right to study two foreign languages, in particular English and another community language. In the classical age, in the Middle Ages, and during the Renaissance, language teaching was mainly based on communicative tools and was more focused on use than form. In the second half of the Renaissance and throughout the 21st century, centers studying languages such as the Crusca Academy and Port Royal Society were founded. During this time, the first dictionaries were created as well as the first grammars of reference. In those years, Italian and French became vehicular languages and acquired more communicative value in the course and international environments. In 1872, Berlitz founded the German school in Rhode Island. His school was oriented towards a natural approach known as the direct method. A visible change concerning the role of languages occurred in the middle of the 20th century, when the world exited the last conflict. Rather than being faced with a world where many countries were unable to communicate with each other at that time, a world constituted by three blocks came into being instead. These blocks included West, East, and non-allied countries. In the Western bloc, French was replaced by English, and the primary economic and military role of the United States was replaced by the states dominated. In particular, the mass media contributed to transforming English into the language of globalization after the fall of the regimes of the Eastern Bloc in 1889. The media, especially nowadays, are part of our everyday life, and we would probably have a hard time giving them up. TVs and computers are the means which make our communication as smooth as possible. Today, and a click is sufficient to trigger human interaction. Didactics cannot ignore this new phenomenon and cannot remain faithful to the old and out-of-date concepts on knowledge and learning. Didactics too, like other sciences, should adapt to change and keep up with what is new in order to aim at improving teaching methods, in particular foreign language teaching. The Italian school system is still faithful to its historic, social, and in particular cultural models dating back to the immediate aftermath of World War II. The problem in foreign language learning is not exclusively represented by technical resources, as over the last years big steps forward have been taken, but it is represented by an insufficient capacity to accept new ideas and new techniques proposed by innovative technologies which are gaining more and more ground in the teaching and learning fields. In schools, language teaching is delivered through course books, and thanks to the course book, the student experiences for the first time the basic element of a foreign language and develops his language skills together with communicative skills through 4 things: listening, reading, speaking, and writing activities. Together with the course book, also other technical tools or simple documents are used in order for the lesson to be more engaging and contextualized in the cultural and social environment. The language is naturally used. Since the beginning of the communicative approach, as already explained, technological tools and authentic documents have gained importance as they are able to reduce the distance between the student and the reality of the language studied. Motivations are strongly related to the strategies adopted to reach a specific goal. A successful strategy stimulates a positive motivation and, at the same time, a strong motivation leads to the implementation of a successful strategy. Being interested in learning a language is an essential factor, and if the student is keen on the subject, the topics, the material used, and above all on the possibility to master a language, he will engage in study activities in order to reinforce his skills. A lesson has to engage the student and stimulate both cerebral hemispheres, and therefore help develop 4 skills: listening, speaking, writing, reading. The teacher, at the beginning of each lesson, should stimulate, through a picture or a question, the interest of the young learner and therefore his motivation. Young learners interested in a topic of their choice are curious to learn more about that specific topic and are more open to novelties, which in turn increase their attention span. In conclusion, we can state that learning a foreign language is not an easy and automatic task, but is instead a complex and a difficult one. Students also have to be aware that they are personally responsible for the results achieved and they are in control of the entire learning process. This work has helped me reflect upon the profession I would like to pursue in the future concerning the role of the teacher, the methods implied in the learning process, and the strategies that need to be implemented in order for the learning process to be effective. May it be your journey.